right, crypto legends, how are we doing today? We are getting a little bit of a dippy, guys. What is going on the crypto market, guys? What a nice little dip we have had. Let me know what you think is happening throughout the end of September in the comment section, guys. Let's go and absolutely crush the charts here with the analysis. Make sure to destroy the like button right away on your way in, and we'll be analyzing here the different scenarios that could happen. Hang on a second, guys. Need to fix this chair. Need to get... kind of feel weird here in the studio. Right, let's go. Let's say hello to the beautiful community. Let me know if you can hear me, if you can see me. Let's put a bit of background music and we'll be absolutely, doing the analysis like we do, guys. Holy smokes. We're kind of anticipating a little bit this drop to happen with the possibility of going to lower levels. What do you guys think? Everybody was concerned about the extremely bullish mega scenario to move up from here, but it didn't feel quite right to get the continuation to the upside. Let's go right away through the comment section and say hello to the beautiful community before we continue, guys. We've got a few scenarios that we're going to talk about. We'll be talking about Bitcoin, Ethereum. We can take a look at some altcoins. We'll be taking a look at the total crypto market capitalization with everything, guys. It is the last run. It is the last run. We do have the Bitcoin dominance getting that very expected bounce, guys. This is a very, very expected bounce to the upside on the Bitcoin dominance. Not surprised. Not surprised. Little bounce, okay? We're still downtrending. I think we are going to, eventually this bounce will get exhausted at some point, but we are moving, down today, Monday, quite aggressively. I mean, look at this Ethereum dump. This Ethereum dump does look nasty, guys. Finally sweeping up the lows here at $4,060. We've got an instant reaction bounce. The main reason I sticked to my short position from a few weeks ago on the failed breakout is because of the potential of forming an ABC to the downside. People do not like to hear this, guys, but it's a reality. And Elliott Wave does give you that edge of realizing, hey, this actually is possible. And if you are holding partially of your short, then eventually you want to hold some of that short for the possibility of coming down to sweep up these lows. Now, can we go lower? Absolutely. Can Bitcoin get an epic bounce from here? Absolutely. Can we get down to this zone? Absolutely. Can we drop below 107, go even below 100K? The scenario is there. And in today's live stream, guys, we have some important information because we have broken up the uptrend. Uptrend has been broken, right? Happy days while it's uptrending, happy days while it's downtrending. If you're short, if you're long, it doesn't matter. And yeah, right now we kind of broken this uptrend from September, which is opening the door for us to possibly come down to 107K, right? And I will be explaining with a little bit of Elliott Wave theory, this movement to the downside. We're going to do a little bit of freestyle Elliott Wave theory just so you realize how we're doing the counts, what are we looking for, and what would be extremely bearish, what would be very bullish, right? We're going to do a little bit of freestyle on Elliott Wave theory here. Let me know, what do you feel down below, guys? I'm doing absolutely great. I've been mainly, it took most of the profits of the long. The short entry was not a great entry. Did get into another short here, personal account. CBM, a good colleague of mine, Mattia, he's actually made over 6 figures with this movement down on Bitcoin. He's been asking me throughout the last few days, what do you think? Are we actually going to jump or not? And I'm like, it's very likely that we are going to get some kind of a movement down here, which was not difficult to predict based on the momentum that we had, especially in the last few weeks, okay? We were pointing out that, you know, despite getting one more high, we are looking for a movement down, guys. You know, when you have this kind of structure, we know that the multiple 1-2 is low probability. We've been screaming about this throughout the last few days. Like, yeah, there's no multiple 1-2 here that has high probability. Your second 1 and 2 is larger than your first one. You usually overlap from your first 1 and 2. And it's either a WXYXZ, which they are rare, or it's either a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe your fifth wave is not in. You sweep up the lows. I mean, we absolutely tanked this morning. One more high and then the correction. You know, all of the scenarios we're looking for a movement down here despite taking out the highs one more time, guys. So you need to understand that because, I mean, a lot of people are against, or they just don't believe on Elliott wave theory, but Elliott wave theory does give you that edge of, you know, the directional bias, right? It does really help you to understand what's the highest probability movement, right? Move down, move up, continue down. It really gives you that edge. Mainly for swing trading eventually, right? Because on 1 minute time frame, if you're scalping, well, you don't have many options. You can use the session VWAP, you can use the previous day rally area high, point of control, naked point of controls for small little bounces, and you can trade this range. But that, you know, that's eventually for the people that want to stick, you know, in front of the computer, right? And so anyway, we'll be discussing a few scenarios today, guys, eventually with this movement down. How bearish is it? Is there a bullish case? Are we saved? That there is a possible count. You know, there's always a bearish and a bullish case, right? So we'll be discussing, can this be a 5-wave impulse? And we are just forming a corrective structure here throughout the, you know, next coming days. And we're going to absolutely moon in the next few weeks. We'll be discussing that, guys. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of freestyle. First of all, let's jump through the comment section, okay? And then we'll talk about the different possibilities. Whoever shorted the market throughout last week is making some pretty decent profits right now. I'm holding an Ethereum short from 3 weeks ago, which is doing just fine. My short entry on Bitcoin was not the greatest. However, you know, still managed to lock some profits, got stopped out from the rest of the long position, and, you know, super happy been adding a little bit to this one to maximize profits. And this has been the trade that's made the most amount of money for me in September, right? This Ethereum short from all-time high, which is doing very, very well. I know a lot of people might think, well, you know, we are in a bull market. What, you know, what's this thing about shorting in a bull market, right? We should be going to higher levels. I am very interested in longs, guys, without a doubt. I do realize that the highest probability on the higher time frame is to take out all-time high, guys. You know, this bull run has not finished, right? But we as traders, you know, we want to take advantage as well of these movements to the downside on Bitcoin, on Ethereum, maybe on some altcoins. You know, I want to take advantage of these movements down, realizing on the higher time frame that it's a very much a possibility. We've been very much vocal about it wouldn't make sense for Ethereum to successfully break out from here and go to Valhalla, right? These crazy price targets in the immediate short term, you know, going to $6,000, $7,000, you know, whoever's thinking about that is delusional, guys. You know, your favorite crypto YouTuber that's talking about, you know, up only, is completely delusional of what could happen in the immediate short term, right? And we were very much aware of this scenario purely based on, you know, come on, we've had a massive rally, guys. We've had a huge rally. Whoever longed this, absolutely phenomenal. Whoever bought spot, you know, eventually take some profits. It's a good move. What we are looking at here is either a triangle, which, you know, I was skeptical about the triangle, just because we moved pretty impulsive to the downside this, you know, and Devil did point this out very nicely. We were talking about this for a few weeks already. The possibility of a contracting diagonal here and an ABC up. This leg down was actually pretty brutal that we had last week. It was actually a pretty good impulsive move down. I was talking about a possible long in this region, but then canceled the long position, realizing, you know, I'm looking at the general idea that we could sweep down the lows of the range. So I'm happy to maintain in the short, and realizing that, you know, come on guys, you know, we knew about this. You know, this is not something to be surprised about. I actually prefer the price of Ethereum to come down to this box for me to get into longs. Will we come down there below $4,000? Well, we're going to have to see. We'll be doing a little bit of local scenarios here on Ethereum as well, but most importantly, focusing on Bitcoin. Let's go through comment section. Say hello to the beautiful community. Let me know if anybody did get, I closed my Bitcoin short yesterday. Wow. Well, I guess you missed the main drop that was today, early this morning. We did drop about $4,000 or so, right? With Bitcoin, yeah, just about $4,000 drop in the last 24 hours. If you closed the short yesterday, I mean, profits are profits, depending on your entry. Still good, still good. It's cool bananas, guys. Cool bananas. We were very much anticipating, you know, do we create one more high or not? We had the weekly naked point of control that we mentioned on yesterday's video, guys. This is a reactionary level. We did get a bounce of a few $100s, but it nuked down. And we keep this very vocal on the channel. Guys, if you lose the weekly naked point of control, in this case, which was sitting here at 114.2K, that was mentioned on yesterday, we did get a nice little bounce. $400, $600, $500. If you lose that level, it's none of your business to be in a long position. You want to get out of the market if you do not maintain above the weekly naked point of control. We did get a bounce. As soon as you lose it, you either get stopped out or you exit the position. And we absolutely tanked early this morning, guys. It was a pretty significant drop. Anybody that's long in this zone and is underwater right now, you did not manage risk. You did not realize that if you lose this level, it can tank big time. You do not want to be in a trade if you lose that weekly naked point of control. There's not really that much support. And, you know, that's what happened. You know, little reaction bounce. That's good to enter, manage risk accordingly. Anybody that's in a long position, you know, anywhere in this area, well, is not managing risk accordingly. You've lost the level. If you lose the level, you just don't want to have, you don't want to participate in any longs eventually, especially when we're considering the bearish case. For the last 2 weeks already, guys, we've been talking about the rollover for a long time now. at least a week. So yeah, anyway, let's go through comment section. Sorry, Mike, I'm always saying let's go through the comment section, and I kind of miss out here and get, you know, distracted with the charts. So let's go right away. How's my hair looking? Is it okay? Better should look okay. Pekka, how are you doing, my man? Joe, SGR, 500 likes today. If we get to 500 likes, I will throw $500 for a lucky winner. That's easy and simple, guys. So if you do smash up the like button, we'll give 500 likes. If we do get to we'll give away $500 for a lucky winner. If we do get to 500 likes, guys, it's easy, it's simple. I'm happy to give a bit of money out, guys, to the community. Let's go. Lorenzo, hello. Back after about 10 months, life's thrown me some curveballs, starving back to scratch. Glad to see Andy still here helping the community. Let's go big all. This song is The Other Side. RVM3, KMRP, how are you doing? Shorts still printing. Shorts are printing, guys. Okay. Oliver, RVM3, how are you doing, brother? Avi, Rick, let's go, guys. Start updates. Dogecoin, please, brother. We'll take a look at Dogecoin later on, okay? We'll get some altcoins later on once we cover Bitcoin mainly. When is the dip over? The bottom is in, says Marcel. There is big risk still to lose 107K, guys. But the information that we will get throughout the next coming days is going to be super good. Super good. This is the, you know, I know exactly what I'm looking for, guys, and I want to be vocal about it, and I want to share with you, right, what what I'm looking for to really see the probabilities if we are going to be moving down throughout the next 1 to 2 weeks to get below 107k, potentially break it, or is this an impulse and we are going to be dancing around here in some of kind of a corrective structure, and then we move up eventually. It's super important to understand the overall general bias on the higher time frame is to take out all-time high, guys, right? Any speculative move that gives the potential to get below 107k, no matter how low it goes, it doesn't matter, is realizing, can the correction extend, right? Can the correction extend? Anyway, hello to everybody. We'll go through the comp section later on. Start updates. We'll get a look at Doge later on. Okay, 𝗬cie𝘂𝗿, the legend himself, moderator, absolute legend. Thank you very much for joining today's live stream, my man. Much love to you, brother. Hope 𝗬cie𝘂𝗿 was in the short. Said short, printing, conviction. Let's go. We'll take a look at Doge. Like the live stream. Like the live stream to get to 500 likes. For someone in the comment section, we'll make someone a moderator. Give me your USDT ERC20 wallet. We'll choose someone to give $500, right? Why not? Why not? Only if we get to 500 likes, of course. So let's go through a little bit of basics, guys. A little bit of basics here on Bitcoin, right? Because sometimes you just need to throw Elliott wave theory out the window, okay? And just go with, nice classic support and resistance levels, right? When we do get the fixed volume profile from the two major ranges of the last few months, I think it's pretty damn clear, right? And when you get the last pivot low to the pivot high, and the last pivot high to the last pivot low, these are obviously swing highs and lows from the higher time frame. We talked about this yesterday. Fibonacci from the last swing higher low to the high. What an epic bounce we got of, $10,000 in September from that golden pocket, from the low to the high, bouncing at the point of control. What a nice rejection we got last week from pivot high, all-time high to the pivot low, golden pocket, and the point of control. Why don't we keep it that simple, right? High volume nodes, the highest volume node from a trading area is without a doubt the most important, right? To consider as a major resistance or a major support, right? And if you add the confluence with Fibonacci, golden pocket, which is the most respected retracement, right? It's the most respected Fibonacci. Damn, why use anything else? Why use anything else, right? Easy peasy. So, of course, it's, more complex than that sometimes. But if you just followed that, then you long, you take profit, you short, you take some profits, you hold some of the short, giving, the possibility of the price to actually come down below 107K. It's very much a reality. It's very much a possibility. When the price, I got a few comment sections in the last few days, not happy. Somebody saying, I got this guy always bullish. He's always bullish. He's always bullish. He's always saying, I only see higher. I only see 128K next or something on them, And I'm like, you need to realize about the timing. You need to realize about the explosive momentum that we had since April. We had a massive rally in a 5-wave move, and for this to be the low and rally from here to all-time high, it's just low probability. Could it happen? Well, it looks pretty uptrending, it looks bullish, but we realized about the possibility here of either forming an aggressive zigzag down, which is still very much a scenario. And I will explain what we're looking at here, as we've got this major drop down with high volume. The low has to be claimed of today. Again, super important here to realize that this movement down is impulsive. We will talk about the local bullish case that could take out the highs. But it all has to do with the local moves, guys. Okay, so we'll be zooming in here to try and understand what are the major levels and where are the trading opportunities here. Bear with me, guys, because one of the scenarios will happen eventually, and we just need to be prepared for them. So ABC double zigzag down, it's still a reality. It's still a scenario that could happen. There is a way of counting this an impulse and this a correction, but yeah, for this to be a correction, we need a lot of overlap. We need a lot of information that will be given this week, guys. If we create some overlappy structure and, very corrective scenarios here, it will be pretty clear for me that this actually looks good to take out the high as the step number one if we do get choppiness in this range. So we eventually need that information. So we'll be talking about how the price can move in the next coming days, so we can be ready to take those trading decisions. Let's zoom in, okay? Different possibilities considering the higher time frame, guys. When we look at this, I know some people might think, what if this is the top of the bull run? What if this contracting diagonal is the top of the bull run? I'm going to say unlikely because of the movement down here. This movement down, there is no solid way of counting this movement down as an impulse. So I still hold most of my Bitcoin, spot bags, and I have, I'm pretty confident despite the movement down here below 107K, it would just be natural, guys. This would be a natural pullback, that all-time highs are likely going to be claimed before the end of the year. And that's when it's time to exit, guys. Significant amount of, Bitcoin, maybe altcoins are going to take a little bit of time to follow, but that will be the sign eventually to start exiting the market. Now, this is why I don't think that this is the top of the bull run, because the movement down is a corrective structure. There's two scenarios for this corrective structure. There is the WXY. It seems a little bit messy right now, just zoomed out. If it is a WXY, then the low is in. And this can be counted as an impulsive move. We need to see some very choppy, overlappy structure in the coming days, which I will explain throughout the stream later on, guys. I will explain exactly what we need to see to be convinced that we are going to take out this high first of all eventually, and then see if we do get continuation, or are we going to roll down, okay, to claim 107K. I will explain exactly what we need to see, and I don't have any folders from here. We'll improvise it and we'll do a little bit of freestyle just so you can see how we're building the the different scenarios up, okay? But there will be a moment that we will find the higher probability move. So yeah, make sure to pay attention throughout the next coming hour of the stream, because there's a lot of information packed in here that we will start discussing, okay? Bear with me, guys. I'm not the best guy to maybe explain, but I'll do my best. So one other scenario eventually is looking at a three-wave structure ABC. As mentioned, there's no possible way in counting a solid impulsive move down from all-time high. That is a good sign. That is a very good sign to realize high probability to take out all-time high in the near future, very likely before the end of the year, okay, guys? Maybe October. Very possible it could be October. We do know that October is very well known to be Uptober, because it's been, one of the most bullish months for Bitcoin in the last decade. Maybe it could be October. Let's see. But we, pretty convinced that all-time high is very, very likely, just because the movement down, there's no strong impulse. There's no strong leading move down that could give us the chance of a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? What we're looking at here is three-wave structure developments. So as we do have a three-wave structure down, the most bearish case scenario is a double zigzag down. It's the most bearish case scenario that we have that does have the potential to get us below 100K basically. When we get the extension from all-time high to the pivot low of the 1st of September to the pivot high of last week, literally at just under 118K, the double zigzag most bearish case scenario has the potential to take us down to the $96,000, $93,000 range. Double zigzag minimum target is taking out the low, which is at 107. We have a very wide target area, most commonly the 121 to the 1236. Nobody wants to hear about this, but it's there. And this would be the most bearish case scenario that we do have before hitting all-time high. You might think, well, I'm just going to get into limit longs here. I mean, you use your own strategy, but there is very low probability in breaking down successfully from the $98,000 low. There is low probability, guys. This is a probability game, and we want to understand, is it highly likely that we moon to 200K? Is it highly likely that we'll drop down to 70K, right? Well, the high probability scenarios, when we do take into consideration the structure and how how every single market and every chart moves, is there is high probability in taking out all-time high, and we need to take into consideration the different ways of how the price can correct. And I'm just talking about the most aggressive one right now, which is actually getting below $100,000. It's still there, guys. It's still possible. A lot of people won't like that. People will be in doubt. People will be screaming bear market. Just the general thing that you do get out there, right? When you do get these drops. So what I understand based on the movement up, the movement down, most importantly here from all-time high, is that there is high probability in taking out all-time high, and there is low probability in breaking down from this low over here. Yes, you can drop beneath the level, but a successful breakdown I'm talking about here, guys. A successful breakdown from 98K, you can hit 96, 95K, it's totally fine. But successfully continuing down is low probability. Low probability to successfully move down from this zone, which you eventually expect a major reactionary bounce from this area if it's hit. We'll go through locally, guys, what we're looking for. Okay, bear with me here. We're just going through higher time frame. So on a higher time frame, I know what I'm looking for, right? On a higher time frame, I don't have a crystal ball, but we can determine the probabilities. Okay, high probability, all-time high. I know that based on the movement down. Low probability in breaking down from this level successfully. So, overall, we know a few things from the higher time frame already. That's good. Now is when you go down the rabbit hole eventually, and you go through slightly lower time frames. We're going to go through the 1 hourly time frame here and discuss the other scenarios eventually that could happen throughout this week. Okay, where there's good levels of support and resistance. What are we looking for based on Elliott wave theory to increase in probabilities? on our trading decision. So, right. Let's go through the 1 hourly time frame. This is going to be a little bit of freestyle, guys, but okay. So we have formed, we got the rejection, guys, from the point of control of this range, right? The movement down today, plus the last few days from last week. It's pretty obvious. It's pretty obvious, right? That you do have this rejection, this bounce, and this massive move down early this morning, right? Throughout Monday. For the moment, we have a 3-wave move to the downside. You can see it on the chart, guys. There's nothing special about this. It's just a 3-wave move down. Now, if the price, after a consolidation, there's many ways of correcting here. This would be too soon if to label it as a wave 4, guys. If we claim the low right now, it would be too soon to label it as a wave 4 when we are comparing here the wave 2. Okay, would be too soon. Wave 4s are usually longer, usually, right? Not always, but as you know, this is a probability game. We go with what usually happens, right? What usually happens this? Well, if it, you know, you want to see what usually happens. Possibilities here: claim the low, claim the high, and claim the low again. You form a flat. It is super important that you do claim the low after a major consolidation at the 236 to the 50% Fibonacci. 236 is the current Fibonacci retracement that is being tested. 382, 50% is the zone of rejection if we want to consider a wave 4 and then get that last leg down. If this does happen, we got an impulsive move down here. We do have an impulsive move to the downside, which is eventually alarming, right? It's eventually alarming because that opens the door for this movement to the downside to be an A wave, right? It is super important that this consolidation that we do get, it might just bounce to claim the low, bounce again, that we do create a significant one more low after a consolidation. Then we can label this as a 5-wave structure. That opens the door for this to be an A wave. If we consolidate and move down, form overlappy structure on the bounce, which is not taking us anywhere. If we move like this throughout this week, maybe entering into next week, very choppy, very overlappy, we will understand that there is a good chance that you're forming a B wave here. And what you're looking at later on is possibly the aggressive C wave down, potentially to the end of September, entering into October. So, you know, we need a lot of information here still, right? We realized that that movement down throughout last week was highly likely, taking out the highs or not. You know, it's just, this is ready to roll over. We can count a 5-wave move up here. We can count a 𝗖𝗍𝗍𝗍. Multiple 1-2s to get an explosive move up. Low probabilities, guys. So, you know, overall, we're looking for this 118K, 117 to 119K zone to really get exhausted and get the rollover. We understand that based on the probabilities. So this movement down is not a surprise, right? It's just kind of expected. It was the highly likely scenario to happen, despite any bad news or whatever you want to say. So getting one more leg down after the consolidation, right, is going to be actually a very, very interesting. Is going to be an interesting scenario here to check the bounce. If the bounce is going to be overlappy, I mean you form a 3-wave structure, the 3rd wave doesn't get a successful breakout, you start rejecting aggressively. If you claim the last higher low, then you have higher probability eventually of this, you know, being a correction, right? And what you're looking for is the rollover later on. So important scenarios that need to happen for the bearish case: create one more low, okay? Create one more low before, okay, we do get above the golden pocket, right, which would literally be overlapping the wave one almost. You know, 236 to the 50% Fibonacci is the zone of rejection. 50% Fibonacci, your max zone for this wave 4 is 113.9k. To then create one more low after the high volume breakdown. This will be the moment that we realize that we have a 5-wave impulsive move to the downside. Now, does that mean that it's confirmed that we're going to roll over? Absolutely not. It is crucial to get the choppiness and the overlappy structure in this zone. Okay? It is crucial. That is going to give us the information to be convinced that we're forming a corrective structure and we are looking for a third wave down, right? A C wave, a third wave, whatever it is. This is going to be the interesting wave to get into, guys. And it doesn't matter that, you know, these are mainly swing trades. You know, what you want to do is look for, you know, this kind of short position. Claim the lows, very likely break it. Very, very likely break that 107k. So it doesn't really matter where you enter here, okay? But, you know, because we will know based on the choppiness if it is going to be corrective or impulsive. Okay, so, you know, that's one scenario. One scenario is that the WXY higher time frame double zigzag comes to fruition. How will we know? Well, once we create one more low here locally on the 1 hourly, right? Get a bounce, dance around, claim the low again. This could double bottom, guys, and get a relief rally. Anybody that wants to look for intraday setups, there is a possibility of forming a double bottom here. It's a good double bottom setup because you're literally looking for the 5th wave. It can double, triple bottom, okay? It can be a little bit shaky, but overall what you're looking for on a 5th wave is to unsuccessfully break down most of the times from that low of the high volume node, right? It's not often that you do get this next leg down to break, right? In a massive move like this. You usually test it. You move down a few $100s, maybe 1,000, and then you usually get that relief rally, right? This is what you're looking for. I might be in the middle here, actually. Hang on a minute. Right, so let's get this smaller because nobody needs to see me here. You need to see the charts. So as for intraday trading, basically, right? Sorry for the messy drawing here, legends. Looks a bit choppy, but you know we're literally, you know, drawing a little bit on how the price can move here. Okay, that's one scenario. Another scenario here, which is, you know, I do have something here. Where is it? Right over here. This is one. This is another scenario, right? This was on the chart where you do have a ABC movement here, because you do have a kind of a cheeky 3-wave consolidation. You got a bit of a 3-waver up here also. We didn't like this to be the high very, very much based on it looks a bit 3-wavy. And then what you're looking for here basically is a possible flat, right? Where you do have this scenario playing out. So it's not all doom and gloom with the 5-wave impulsive move to the downside here from the last week, because funny enough, you can fit a 3-wave structure, a flat possibility, and then you get, you know, another zigzag up here, right? To claim the highs, form your Y structure. And that would still be, right? If we do form this, guys, I will be paying attention here at the levels of resistance and see how the price develops. But overall, it all will depend on this movement to the upside. If it's looking very impulsive, if we do get an epic rally up here, this is the moment that we need to pay attention to the correction. Okay. If we get a strong bounce in the next coming days after that 5-wave move down, that's going to be the moment that the correction is going to be your golden ticket. Overlap, boom, 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 choppiness, bit of sideways momentum, forming a little bit of a wedgie structure if you wish. Then look for the leg up to very likely claim these highs. So this might seem Chinese here for a lot of people that don't understand Elliott wave theory, guys, but it's the bomb diggity, guys, to get really that edge in your trading. So in a nutshell, what we would be looking at is that also, let's change this color because my goodness, we can't have everything the same color, right? This would be a larger WXY. However, if we do get the price moving up above the 7 Fibonacci, above the golden pocket successfully, if this were to be the case, you form an impulse, you form a very choppy corrective structure throughout the next coming days. This will be the moment that you are interested in longs. I'll be interested in longs. I'll be interested in the longs with the pro community or the VIP to basically claim those highs again. We just need that information. I need a strong leg up and choppiness down. I realize that the probabilities will increase to take out those highs at 118K. So this information will happen, guys, throughout the next coming days. It's just how to position yourself, right? So let me know if you guys can hear me, if you can see me, because I'm seeing a lot of volatility in the views right over here. So this is possible. However, if the price does claim above $118,000 in this double zigzag structure to form your X wave, you have 3-wave W, 3-wave X, then the Y wave has low probability in claiming 107K. And what you would be looking at here is more of a sideways continuation corrective structure, which opens the door for a flat. People are going to go crazy with what could happen here, or a triangle, okay? It doesn't matter. We would be interested in this leg up, but for this leg up, we need first the sign of strength leg up and choppiness. This wave over here to the upside to claim 118K will be developed by 3 waves. It will be developed by 3 waves, and we are interested eventually getting into the 3rd wave. We will get that information, guys. It's just as simple as waiting for a pump and a descending wedge, if you wish, right? Or a bull flag. To keep it in simple terms here, guys, getting a little bit of Elliott wave theory, out the window here, because people just can't take it with Elliott wave theory, but study Elliott wave theory, guys. It is going to give you that edge eventually to, for your trading on higher time frame projections. So this is what we want to see. We want to see a pump here and a little bit of a bull flag, if you wish, right? Just in simple terms, to form this structure to at least take out the high. So that is still one scenario here that could happen for Bitcoin also. Let's take a look at let's talk about the bullish case, right? Because despite this being a possible 3-wave move up, a flat structure here, and then you form a zigzag up, okay? This can be a 3-wave, okay? It can be a 3rd wave. It does not matter, and this is what is most important, guys, positioning ourselves in this structure. There's 2 Elliott wave possibilities. It does not matter which one plays out, because what we're looking for is to take out $118,000. Could it be a 3rd wave and then 4-5? Absolutely, guys, because this movement to the upside can be counted as a 5-wave impulse, right? So yeah, what if this is actually a correction, right? And this is an impulsive move. You correct here, you want to be in this wave, despite the WXY for the X, or despite whatever. This is going to be the best position that you can get into for a long position with conviction. Realizing that you're looking for a 3-wave move here. You are looking for a 3-wave move. So it's probably a little bit messy, guys. I decided today that I'm going to do a little bit of freestyle on the Elliott wave scenarios. So that's one scenario here, guys. Okay, it is crucial on the 15-minute time frame in the next coming days that the movement up is some kind of an impulse. Now, what happens if the price does not claim the low here and we suddenly form a little bit of a V-shaped recovery in the next couple of days and we actually get above this zone? What happens if that happens? Right? Because that will be a different story. What happens if the price V-shapes here and claims all of these lower highs? Well, that means that this will be a confirmation 3-wave structure, and there will be high probability that we're going to take out the highs here at some point. So it's in our best interest to look for longs whatever happens in this zone, guys. If we move in a very impulsive V shape to claim the lower highs without creating one more low on this consolidation, that will confirm that this is a 3-wave structure, and sooner rather than later you're going to take out 118k, because this can be counted as a 5-wave move up, and this might be the 3-wave down. That's it. Getting this movement, high probability that all of this is corrective. You could form a sideways WXY, you form a flat here out of nowhere, or a triangle. You know, you're just literally looking for some kind of choppiness. But ultimately, it's in your best interest to look for longs eventually to take out the 118k. What needs to happen, right? You know, for people that are asking, you know, what needs to happen? Well, what you need to do is take out the lower highs of yesterday. You need to take out these lower highs at 116k. That's the only thing that needs to happen here. If you do not form one more low and you recover from here, high probability you're going to take out 118k, and it's in our best interest to look for longs on the pullback, especially if you form a 5-wave, you know, V-shaped recovery impulsive move here. So it's going to be interesting. You know, this will look extremely bullish eventually, to look for that 3-wave move, double zigzag, whatever happens here. Look for long positions to take out 118k. So, you know, it's just realizing where the probabilities do increase. Market always moves in a 3-wave move or a 5-wave move, guys. Always. Siempre. Always. Always, guys. So as it always moves like that, you can actually look for the, you know, predictable movements, right? Depending on what levels are hit. If you form a 3-wave structure to the downside without forming your 4 and 5, and you take out the beginning stages of the 3rd wave, this no longer becomes a 3rd wave, it becomes a C wave. So it will be extremely important to understand the pullback here. Just like a wedgie structure or a flag or whatever, bit of overlap, we're looking for the pop out here, guys. So, I mean, that's another scenario that could happen more locally. Okay, when we do take into consideration the levels of resistance and support, if I'm honest with you, it doesn't really matter. You sweep up this high without claiming the lows again after this consolidation, without hitting the pivot low eventually, literally bounce, rejecting from 382, 50%, then this movement looks impulsive. Of course, you need to zoom out because we do have the zigzag up, the flat here, possibility. So we want to be a little bit cautious on what happens next here after forming a 4 and a 5. There's two options. This is a flat and you look for an impulsive move, correction, other impulsive move to the upside, or you form the choppiness overlap structure, and this will not be good. No bueno, guys. This will be a good zone to really understand the movement up really sucks, and it's a high probability that this is either an A wave or a 1 wave, and what you're looking at here is a 2 or a B, and it's in our best interest to get into more shorts, guys, more shorts. If this is going to be the case, overlappy structure after finishing the 5th wave, if you bounce, boom, low, boom, boom, and it starts making all of this crap, then you realize that, yeah, this is not good. No es bueno. And you have a high probability that you're going to get another aggressive move down, guys. Nobody wants to see that. But we will realize, based on our skills, on what would be the highest probability scenario based on Elliott wave theory. Do we continue up here based on what happens in the next couple of days? Or do we actually roll over, right, to claim the lows at 107K? This area will be my next trading decision zone for the next coming days that I will let know the people in the VIP community. I didn't get into an epic short position, guys. Short position was relatively small, but still profits are profits. I do share my P&Ls. I do share my track record. I do share my trades with the VIP guys. Totally transparent. If you know, you know. And, there's nothing bad about sharing. If you are getting taught by a mentor, you want to realize that he's actually profitable, right? So I do share that with the VIP. I'm a very slow, patient trader, very careful with my money, and I share that with the VIP and the pro community. If you are interested in that, getting into the VIP is relatively simple, guys. VIP, send me a DM to the Telegram, and to access that, it is as simple as joining one of the affiliate links, Bluffing or Weeks down below, okay, where you get insane bonuses. Weeks is with the 20% deposit bonus. Also, Bluffing has got incredible perks here depending on your deposit and the volume that you move on different bonuses as well. And you can get access to the VIP where I share my trades, my ideas, and how I'm navigating this market, guys. And obviously sharing the P&Ls and how is it looking for me, with my trading decisions. No blowing up accounts. I don't blow up accounts, guys. It's been many years since I don't blow up an account. So I'm a very careful, patient trader, and I am transparent about it, okay? Which is muy importante, right? If you are, literally following someone, super important, guys. So anyway, that's that, okay? And that's really what I'm looking for here. Whoever got into local double tops, very good, guys. Very good, very good. I mean, we were very much vocal about this scenario as well. This area where we do have the point of control of this entire range, we're forming this wave up, this wave, and this one, and this one, and this one, then, guys, we can actually look for double tops here, triple tops. We were vocal on this on YouTube at the last few days on a live stream last week. It's acceptable, guys. We're looking for a rollover here at some point. Do we create a flat here, claim the lows? We do get an epic reaction and we bounce back up for the 5th wave or the the WXYXZ, right? Where you're finishing with a Z right there. Maybe. But if you want to catch the highs, this was not a bad area to really get into the double, triple tops reaction area, because despite, sweeping up the lows at 114K was highly likely. Also based on liquidity, guys, we did sweep up some pretty nice liquidity. I mean, this was absolutely insane. in the last 24 hours, right? So we knew about this movement down, guys. We knew that the high, moving up from here like this was very unlikely, guys. This was low probability. You know, we were screaming about this scenario, guys. You know, getting a move up here with a successful breakout is, you know, low probability. And we are looking at some point based on this structure. We realize that the multiple 1-2 low probability, so you're not expecting a third wave breakout. Claiming the highs again or not, guys, we're looking for a move down. Claiming the lows and then the highs move down. We're looking for a rollover here based on, this is it, guys. You know, you've had the move up. You've moved up in a potential 5-wave structure. Could you form a 4 flat and claim the highs again? I don't know. Maybe yes. But this is why if you want to really catch the highs, I got into very bad trade, guys. I have to be honest. I did get into a short here at the double triple tops, but you need to understand that the rollover here was highly likely. No matter how many highs you create in this zone, it doesn't matter. This correction was very much anticipated. So yeah, just wanted to be a little bit vocal on that. And eventually on the higher time frames right now, it is not that easy. It depends on what happens in this area. It depends on what happens here right now. The decision of the battle. The decision of the battle between bears and bulls will be taken this week, guys. For a confirmation, I'm telling you, it will happen this week. The battle will decide this week if we are going to do this or if we are going to do this. It will be decided this week. And I will know who will have higher probability to win the battle. I will know, guys, who will have high probability in winning the battle. And it's based on those scenarios that I explained at the beginning of the stream. 30 minutes, 1 hour. It's been a little bit messy, but overall, there's going to be a battle this week between bulls and bears. And it will be decided this week. And based on the movements that happen with the volume, you can take a look at order flow and CVD and all of that, is all good. But all based on the movements and which levels are hit, based on the explanations that I've given to you, you will, I know just by price action, guys, even without using Fibonacci, with nothing on the chart, what is highly likely to happen. So it's going to be a very, very interesting week. Very, very interesting week, because I do expect some new positions happening. New positions. And, I'm talking about $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 movements. Whoever wants to scalp $1,000, $2,000 movements, that's all good. Maintain risk if you're scalping. But I'm looking for the bigger movements eventually. And I do realize that I will know what's likely to happen based on this week of price action. So I will be letting the Legends Pro community, depending on how the price develops in the coming days, on how I'm positioning myself on my next bigger trade. It's not always easy, guys. I didn't make, this short position was not insane. I did short as well here in this zone. That was a personal trade, but the one that I talked about, I wasn't adding to position. I gave the option of people to add to the short. I know some people in the pro community, such as Staffer1, did make some pretty nice gains getting into that short position. So shout out to you, my man. Anyway, that's about it on Bitcoin. There's not really much to understand and to talk about. Okay, I ain't pulling out money flow or RSI or Bollinger Bands, guys. Pure blank chart. I just need to see what kind of price action develops here to see what would be the next battle probability here. Okay, we understood last week that popping up from here was highly unlikely, and despite hitting the highs one more time or not, a movement down was very, very likely, with the potential of claiming 107k and maybe even breaking it, guys. that potential is still very much real, and we will know if the probabilities significantly increase depending if you form a 4 or 5 and you form overlappy structure here. Then it's going to be a battle for the bears, guys. It will be a battle for the bears. If the new bullish structure is going to be overlappy and very poor in volume, it's a losing battle for the bulls here. It will be a losing battle. If we claim this lower high of yesterday without claiming the lows, right, and we do get a little push up here, bulls have a good chance to break above 118k. Of course, you do have the larger WXY, which could form a sideways corrective structure, either in a flat later on here and then recover, or a triangle. It doesn't matter. We ain't going to talk about that because it's too soon. A little bit of general information here, guys. Thank you very much for coming on live and smashing up the like button and just realizing the structure with a little bit of Elliott wave theory and what we're looking at for the week. Let's go through the comment section. We can talk about Ethereum. I mean, Ethereum has already tested the lows, which is the minimum target for an ABC. So, yeah, I mean, this it can be looking interesting for Ethereum. I mean, the lows have been claimed here. Oh, sorry, not this low. What am I talking about? This low right over here. You know, we've already swept the low. This could have been the 3-wave structure already. Still looking pretty aggressive. Multiple 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5s can be on the formation. If we start forming this slow downtrend and a couple of 4, 5s, you know, this week, it's going to be looking good, guys. I'll be interested in longing very much. If we were to move up here, same scenario for Bitcoin, just a different story. We get a bounce here to claim 4,500 with a good impulse. Holy smokes, guys, this could be it. This could be it. I want to go aggressive long here, sell my car, sell my watch, and, you know, go in an epic leverage long to claim all-time highs, because the probabilities for Ethereum is still hitting all-time high, but we need a little bit of information. We've swept the low of the A wave. We still very aggressive move down with volume. Most commonly, you would get that 4-5 kind of scenario here, just because you have those 1, 2, 1, 2, high amount of volume, 4-5, right? Still soon to really say, I'm going long right now with all my capital. Not yet, guys, not yet. I don't mind entering a little later. If we do claim that lower high, this would be a good sign, guys. This would be a good sign if you bounce up to this high at 4,500. Very, very good. Muy, muy bueno. Let's take a look here at the fixed volume profile on, just out of curiosity. I mean, already getting above that point of control and the value area low with a good strong move up. The closer you get to this consolidation, the better. Oh, I mean, it would be such a beautiful back test of the value area low and the point of control to then go long, guys, with all of your funds, right? Like max long your longs. We'll have to check that correction, but if that does happen, I would be very, very convinced in longing here, guys, if that were to be the case. If we reclaim value area low, point of control, get close to these lower highs, oh, this is going to be beautiful, guys, to long. It's going to be really, really nice. So yeah, I mean, I would be very interested in longing that. Right now, longing, just because we had the very aggressive move down with high volume, and you have this movement down here also, you would expect, if this is an impulse in your C wave, that you should claim the lows again. You know, you should really. And depending on the movements down here, I would be very interested in looking for double, triple top bottoms, not tops, bottoms. We like bottoms, guys. We know bottoms. Bottoms are great, right? We trade them. We go in with the green dildo. You get the point, right? So this area, without a doubt, this order block on the higher time frame, if you wish, is without a doubt going to be some good support, resistance support flip. So the choppiness down here is going to be the bomb diggity to take the decisions. Sweep up the low. I would even possibly attempt the first low. First double bottom, I would give it an attempt. Very likely that you're going to come down again and sweep up the lows, because this movement down, you can clearly see you got one wave bounce, another wave, another small one. I think I would expect a 4-5 and a 4 and a 5 here, at least 2 4-5s to develop. If it is going to be that impulsive move. So yeah, double triple bottoms here coming into the highs of this resistance is going to be the decision taking here. If you want to catch the low, right, double triple bottoms or double triple tops is your best way to try and catch a low or a high, and that's what I would be looking at here. Okay, or we wait patiently for a sign of strength. The moment you reclaim point of control in value area low and get above this lower high, this is going to be looking pretty damn good. This will be a bullish confirmation. I will be happy to long here. I don't care. Long in here. Stop loss at the low. I'm targeting all-time highs and even a good breakout. I do expect Ethereum next test of all-time high to be a successful breakout. Get above $5,000. So it doesn't really matter where you position here. You just realize the probabilities will be in your favor if you claim the lower highs of yesterday. Okay, so retest of the point of control in the value area low, 50% to golden pocket from pivot high, pivot low. That's where you want to be interested in, right? So stop at the low, you targeting the highs and even higher, because I do expect the next move up on Ethereum that it will break out. First attempt, well, yeah, first attempt didn't happen, but that's very common, guys. It's very common. That's one of the main reasons why I entered the short just at the end of August. The main reason of the short is, looking at Elliott wave theory eventually as well on the impulse, realizing that it's unlikely that you're going to get a successful breakout on the first attempt after this leg up. But when you consolidate like this and you are correcting, that is fuel to get the breakout. That is fuel consolidation to get the breakout. So I'm very, very confident that the next breakout of the highs is actually going to pop out. It will get to price discovery, and we should be pumping here significantly on the next attempt, guys. So very interested in longs without a doubt, right? Shorts have been taken. The shorts were taken. So, very, very interested in the longs right now. Let's go through the comment section. We can take a look here at what are the people saying here. Good morning, 𝗬𝗫𝘂𝗿. How you doing, brother? Much love to you, my man. Sin Games, much love also to you. We got Sin Games. We got Staffer1. Much love to everybody. BNB looking for 1,300 in October. Maybe BNB has been the crypto, guys. It's been the major crypto that has taken off. Holy smokes, who bought BNB in the last few years? My goodness, this one, yeah, I mean, even buying up here in the bear market, it's done a 4x. Even Bitcoin's actually performed better than BNB. It also did a 6-7x, right, from the lows of the bear market. But I wouldn't be too sure about BNB going, well, 1,300 is still not that far away. So maybe, yeah, maybe it can get all the way up there. But we ain't going to analyze BNB. Much love to everybody. Let's check poor old 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. Oh my goodness, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. What's going on with 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 Fartcoin, because there was a sweep of some lows that were looking very interesting on Fartcoin. Oh, we did talk about a long here on Fartcoin after sweeping these lows a few weeks ago. We did get the bounce, We swept the lows here, that higher low, which is very common for an SFP. Wow, but no, this lost the level. So the bounce did happen. We did get the bounce from the lows right there, 25% plus. But wow, this is tanking. This is tanking. It's coming to our next major order block, which I would expect Fartcoin eventually to hold this region. Next here, order block, resistance, support, flip is in this area. It's a pretty wide order block from the higher time frame, but overall, not too convinced with the Bitcoin dominance bounce, okay? Not too convinced. This was a pretty good SFP, nice little bounce. Fartcoin, guys. What a coin. Let's go through the comment section. Bitcoin and Ethereum are my main assets to trade, guys. Main ones. The main ones. If I'm very convinced on an altcoin, I will trade it eventually, but Chainlink back to $30. You got that damn right. It is going to $30 at some point. Let's take a look at Chainlink right away here for the community. Chainlink, yeah, I mean, this is all good. Oh, what a beautiful sweep of the lows. I'm not sure if anybody sniped this level, but we talk about these kind of trades many times, guys. Remember, if you smash up the like button and we get to 500 likes, we are doing a giveaway, guys. $500 right away. We'll be choosing somebody in the comment section for $500, guys. I'm happy to give some of my money away, okay, to somebody. Only if I get the 500 likes. If not, no giveaway. So let's take a look at Chainlink here. Chainlink, oh man, this is actually a pretty epic higher low, guys. We talk about this. You know, if you've been a legit follower of the channel, you know, this is one of our kind of favorite strategies where we get the pump. We get a major rally. And I'm not sure if I'm in the way here, guys. You get the major rally. And when you do form that first higher low of a major pump, and you continue to the upside, or you do whatever you want, you can go back and forward if you want. It doesn't matter. That higher low becomes a very, very good reactional bounce because all of the volume of the pump is in this zone. And the bulls will defend that inefficiency, right? But in this case, you do have the highs here also, which is going to provide some pretty good support. So a little bit of a sniper trade long. This is a zone to react without a doubt, right? I would happily say that Chainlink here is forming a higher time frame multiple 1-2 setup, okay? I would give the chance here for Chainlink that it's very likely going to bounce here at the golden pocket, 50% to the golden pocket zone. Worst case scenario, 7/8 Fibonacci, which is $18. But this, without a doubt, is the bouncing area. The movements up are too bullish. They are too bullish. And we're looking for a multiple 1-2. Now, yeah, this is the area for Chainlink to bounce, without a doubt. 50% to the 7/8. You got that first attempt, sweep of the higher low right there. This is a good level to bounce, okay? It is a good level to bounce. Can it reach golden pocket to the 7/8? Well, you know, you need to take this. This is mainly looking for, you know, Chainlink to get above $30 at some point in the near future. Give or take a few weeks. Maybe some local volatility here. But if I am looking at this as a trading setup, stop loss beneath the last higher low, because what we're looking at here is multiple 1-2, and look for that breakout. So, I mean, this is not a day trade. It's not a scalp. This can take many weeks to develop eventually, but this would be the area where I'm looking for Chainlink to actually settle down. between, you know, $22 and $18 is the settlement zone for Chainlink. So some people are scared of the pullback. Sometimes we say we need to get the pullback, we need to get movement down so we get you know, a good entry, right? Because you don't want to long on the movements up. Once the pullback happens, some people are very skeptical if we are going to, you know, actually move down or not. So I think we are going to likely hold above this higher low and consolidate in this region. Maybe one more low, maybe very sideways corrective structure. Ultimately, looking for the breakout here before the end of the year, right? Maybe into October, and claim finally that $30. Lots of bullish news on Chainlink. I still hold all of my Chainlink, guys. I never sold a single Chainlink since I started buying in 2019. Imagine seeing your Chainlink bag. My first Chainlink bag was bought at $1.60, guys. And I saw it all the way up to $50. There was insane profits and rolled it all the way down. It's the only altcoin I got married with, guys, but I'm getting a divorce this cycle. And as soon as we break above $30, I'm going to start exiting. I've got too much money in Chainlink, and it's time to be a little bit sensible. Time to be a little bit sensible when you do have a lot invested in a crypto. Andy, how many plastic chairs do you think you can eat in a year? Set some dollars. Oh, is that going? You want me to go in a trade live on Chainlink? Yeah, I mean, we can talk about this being the accumulation zone. Yeah, I mean, I would be happy to get into a swing long here, guys. Shall we set a swing long trade here on Chainlink? Let's get in a link position. Why not? And we can cover it throughout the next coming weeks. How do you like that? Let's get into a Chainlink position here. I mean, it's already getting a pretty nice bounce. I would have liked to get the lows being swept here. But yeah, let's get into a Chainlink long. We're going to call it the swing long. Okay, invalidation would be $16. It is a little bit far away, but it's still a good risk to reward of over 3 to 1. Let's get into a nice Chainlink long position. Let's keep it as the long position. Minimum is $1. What's this? Hang on a minute, guys. Let me just figure this out, because for some reason it's not letting me get into the long position on Chainlink. What's going on here? Let's get into that long trade on Chainlink. And it's a swing long. Of course, this can take several weeks to develop. Okay. This is why I was at the USDC pair, not the US dollar tether pair. So let's get into that swing long position on Chainlink. And this would take many weeks to develop, guys. I do expect $30 to be hit on Chainlink. Not the best entry eventually, but we're already getting into the bounce. But happy with the analysis here. You know, this is the zone that I'm looking for Chainlink to hold on here. I don't want Chainlink to get below $16. So that would be my invalidation. And I am looking for the highs to be taken at $30 before the end of the year. I mean, this is how long this could take. This could still consolidate here for another week or two, claim the lows. But I'm very convinced of the bullish momentum here that we do have. So in the long trade on Chainlink, and we'll keep that Okay, I'm going to save a couple of percentage here. We'll keep this as the swing trade of the channel. I'm going to leave a 1-2% to possibly add to the position. This is my invalidation, and we're targeting the highs above $30 with the potential of breaking out here, guys, with the potential, of course, of breaking out before the end of the year. That's the scenario that we're looking at here for Chainlink. Okay, so let's see. I shorted from 117k. That's awesome. On Bitcoin, that's actually a very, very good entry zone. Very, very good. Make sure to collect some profits. Okay, we do have the possibility of Bitcoin not coming down to the low, guys. Okay, we explained this throughout the beginning of the stream. There is a chance for this to be an impulsive move. There is that chance. Make sure to collect your profits on the movement down. If this is a 3-wave move, it will be confirmed once we hit this lower high at 116k. So there is that bullish case. You come down already to 50% Fibonacci. This could very much, there is a chance here that you always have to have a bullish case. Wave 1, wave 2. It would be a little bit too quick in time. I wouldn't say it has the highest probability for this to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ABC, and it's time to recover and moon mission based on timing. Okay, very quick. When we do take a look at Fibonacci time from the low to the highs, we have finished before the 382 Fibonacci time, which is low probability for this to be the low and absolutely moon mission because of timing. Okay, preferably you do finish after 38% at least of the impulse. In this case, at least after this 382 timing, just to keep it a little bit more symmetrical. So wouldn't be too convinced of this being the low. Okay, let's go through the comment section, see what's going on. ADA, Andy the man, 𝗖𝗵𝗿𝗍, much love to you, brother. What a drop we did have on Bitcoin. I have to say this drop was very much anticipated. Okay, the drop was anticipated very much for Bitcoin to happen, guys. Okay, and we were looking for shorts throughout last week. We were looking for the rollover, take out the highs or not, again or again, and come down and again. But overall, a movement down here was very, very likely to happen. So we are not surprised. 𝗖𝗵𝗿𝗍, much love to you, brother. It's USD, not USDT. Yeah, exactly. I had US dollar on the Chainlink pair. Staffer1, much love to you, my man. Is there any local trading setups, right? Anybody that's interested in scalping, right? I have moved away from day trading and scalping, guys. The thing is, when you make your capital, day trading and scalping can be very stressful. It can be very lucrative, but it can be very dangerous if you do not know how to manage your emotions, your risk management. It's a very difficult game, and you can have very good periods of scalping and day trading. You can have very bad periods of scalping and day trading, right? For most of the people that are newish in the game of trading, you're very likely going to lose money at the end of the day. It's just the reality. And the people that are mainly successful in the trading game are the people that swing trade. I'm happy to share my P&Ls and my track record, guys. They're mainly swing trading setups. And the less you trade, these are bigger positions, of course. People that have $1,000 to $2,000, they are going to take a long time to successfully convert those $2,000, $3,000 into $10,000, into $20,000. You have higher probability in losing. Okay, if you're scalping and day trading, if you're getting into 10 trades a day, unless you're very good at it, But the successful traders, most of the successful traders are swing traders. Long term, they are swing traders, guys. So this is why getting the overall general view on, you know, I made most of my money in August throughout this movement to the upside. Very patient, realizing that all-time high is very, very likely. Big position, made over $100,000 with this movement here throughout August. You know, just looking at the bigger swing projections, you could have built up a better swing short position, if I'm honest here with you. Just realizing that the higher probability was rolling down, taking out the low or not, and then the high. The rollover here was very, very likely to happen, which is, you know, you're looking for a $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 move at least at a bare minimum, with the potential of getting a $10,000 drop eventually to the lows. But that could take a little bit more time. I will be happy to get in, to join back in later on, depending on what happens here, guys. Depending on how the price develops, that was explained throughout the stream, you know, about 30 minutes ago. You know, I will realize that if this movement up is going to be bearish. Okay, so it's totally fine to join in later on. You're still going to make a big move of, you know, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000. I'll get that information in the coming days. So, and then eventually, if it is looking bullish and the movements down are looking corrective, well, you know, we can join later on, right? And this is a higher time frame. It's a swing trade. You're looking for this to develop in, you know, give or take 1 to 2 weeks, maybe even slightly more than that. So, yeah. Andy, does Trump have any news on BTC tomorrow? Well, I don't know, but we were talking about the statue, guys, right? Oh my, this was so epic. We actually talked about this last week on a stream. Trump BTC statue. And let's see if I can find this here somewhere. Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah, this was hilarious, guys. This was posted on the 18th. How, you know, when we talked about this, we said last week, guys, this is such a classic local top signal, even though the charts were pointing out that that we were likely going to get a movement down regardless of the statue or not. But this was posted last week on the 18th of September, 18th, 17th, right? And we got the pullback down, guys. Where is it? Where did I put it? We said, guys, you know, this is a classic local top signal, at least locally, right? Getting the statue announcement, and yeah, it was very much the local top. We did drop, you know, $5,000-$6,000 at least, right? Since we got this announcement, which was, you know, is what usually happens, right? What is the invalidation for link swing long position? I wouldn't be happy if the movement down here does get below $15. It's a small position, okay? I would be happy to add to this swing long position, but I wouldn't be happy if it comes down here. We need this to be a multiple 1-2 setup. Even though this wave is a little bit longer, you know, I would say because it's an altcoin, I'm going to give it a go. This cannot be a 5 waver, because if it were to be a 5 waver, you know, you're looking at a contracting diagonal, but a contracting diagonal here is not possible because your wave 5 is longer than your third wave. So yeah, what we're looking at here is a multiple 1-2 setup. So, you know, we are looking at this area between 50% and 7/8 to hold very, very nicely throughout the next 1 to 2 weeks. Okay, so it's going to be it's going to take some time, guys. It's going to take some time. We can test the lows. It can be choppy. Maintain risk very well. Okay, if you're getting into these swing trade positions, remember, we want to long the dips. And yeah, this does look very good for the moment. based on the uptrend that we formed in the last few months. Okay, we got still looking very, very bullish. Nice pullback down today. So that's what we're looking at. What do I think about Flux? I'm not sure if I have an opinion on Flux here. Yeah, Flux. Not nice at all. We lost the lows here. And it's slowly, we've got a bit of a descending triangle here, formation. Could we discuss its bottoming out? It did lose the lows here. We never recovered from the lows of the bear market. And we flipped it as resistance. And bit of a downtrending mode here. Selling pressure is very much real on this one. Yeah, well, nothing here to point out on Flux. We ain't going to do... I mean, if it is going to be a good token to fly, well, this should be the buying zone. But not sure if it's a failed project or not. Trump golden dump. Trump got out of Crow at the top. Lol. What happened to Crow? Because we do know that Trump did invest in Crow, right? Crypto.com. Yeah. I mean, this is the thing, right? Did he exit? He probably did. I'm not sure. Probably did. You should have. You could probably see if he has bought the actual crypto. I have no idea about this news, but I do realize that a few weeks ago, Trump invested billions of dollars on, crypto.com, and we got this massive rally. He probably dumped his bag, guys. He probably made a couple of bill, even a few $100 million, and got the heck out, right? You don't want to buy, guys, based on, oh, Trump bought, then I will buy. Well, yeah, no. If Trump bought, then it's probably time to get out. If he created this massive hype pump, it's the same story every time. Technical analysis on Avalanche. Where will we bottom for the good longs? Avalanche. Let's take a look at AVAX, because I think AVAX is obviously one of the leading L1s out there. And yeah, Avalanche got a pretty nice breakout of this kind of ascending triangle double bottom formation here. And I would be happy to say that Avalanche, looking for higher levels. Oof. Just looks so good, so good. Eventually back testing here. I'm not sure if we will get that back test. Yeah, I mean, Avalanche already from the lows here. You did form a higher low, so you got that movement up, higher low, movement up, higher lows. You already got the big breakout. You're coming down to this higher time frame order block on Avalanche, which is where we're getting that reaction bounce, right? If you get the fixed volume profile, I would arguably discuss that, yeah, it's bouncing at the point of control from this consolidation. Very, very likely right now. It's just bounced, got an epic bounce today from that order block. So a little bit aggressive. It is an aggressive move down. If we claim the lower highs at $33, it's a confirmation that we are going to take out the highs at 35 plus. So right now with this movement down, you claim the highs here, then the pullback is going to be interesting to get into a long. This would be a confirmation that this is, you just bounced out the point of control. So any sniper traders early this morning probably tried to catch the low here at the point of control on Avalanche. But yeah, claiming the lower highs of yesterday if we do bounce here without creating a low, it will be confirmed that this is a 3-wave move down. So, you know, you're talking about the best support to buy. Well, unless you snipe at the dump at the point of control early this morning, it's in your best interest to, you know, either wait for another low for a double bottom here. This is still good support just to catch a good entry. You need to realize that also, if you do not, you know, if you do claim the low here without overlapping this zone of yesterday, you could form an impulsive move down. So you get this, you form the 5th wave, you form that double bottom, you get the bounce, but you need to realize that this could be an A wave, a B wave, and then you break down here with another low, sweep up these lows, and then get the epic rally. And, you know, maybe we're not going to get that low. So preferably for you to be confident and that we're going to take out this high and continue to the upside, it is crucial that Avalanche does not claim the low of today and actually claims the lower high of yesterday. That will confirm a 3-wave structure, and that the movement to the downside, whatever movement happens here to the 50% Fibonacci golden pocket zone preferably, is going to be your zone to long, because this could actually be the low, and then you just break out throughout next week, right? And we continue the bull run. So imagine saying, look, give me a good long after a pullback, and it doesn't matter if you look, if you longed throughout last month here, 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 or here, you are catching this major rally, right? So it doesn't really matter, right? You're thinking, how low can this pullback go, right? Which is the best level of entry? If you form a 3-wave down and you claim the lower highs, it's highly likely corrective. You know, maybe this will be the low. If you claim that lower high, for me, it would be a confirmation for at least a local low. I do not know if we're going to break out and then move down, or we're going to rip here. Highs in an uptrend are always a take profit zone, always. So if you claim that lower high from yesterday, that's going to be good, guys. You know, maybe this, it doesn't matter if you longed here or if you longed here. Maybe the breakout is going to be so explosive that you're in a very good position. Maybe you just continue ripping throughout the next coming weeks. So it doesn't matter long in here or long in here, right? If we are looking for a long, there's several options here on Avalanche. The most aggressive one that you can get stopped out, if you do not claim this range of yesterday and you form a lower high here, a double bottom here is good for a scalp, because what you have the risk here of forming a 5-wave move down in an A wave, 3-wave up, and then you sharply get a movement down here. Then this would be your best long option for a bigger rally later on. So you can form an ABC. Remember, we've had an epic rally on Avalanche throughout the last few weeks. It could be a larger correction. If you claim the low again, it's a 5-wave move down, giving you the option of a bounce of a 3-waver and then sweep up the lows. I would say that the higher lows of the sweep here is your best option for the long. We're talking about $28. $28 becomes your reaction zone for a good long here. And I would really attempt to catch double bottoms here. Because you think, oh, well, where's my stop loss? Well, you need to get in at the lows, double bottoms, triple bottoms, stop loss at the low, recover, protect position. If you form another double bottom, boom, boom, entry, stop loss, recovery, that might be the one, right? But this is the area to bounce without a doubt on Avalanche, $28. If $28 are not hit, then you know, and you do bounce to the highs of yesterday, this is a confirmed 3-wave structure. So yeah, the highs are going to be taken at some point. So it's in your interest to look for the pullbacks here to get into the long. There is eventually the risk of a double zigzag always. Okay. So this is the thing. You know, it's never that easy. You could form a zigzag here, zigzag up, claim the highs. Andy told me that this is going to bounce, but you would have the risk still of a double zigzag. I mean, if you do hit the 7, if you do get above the golden pocket, which would be the case, then claiming the lows here has a low probability. So yeah, this would be low probability. If you do claim the low highs of yesterday, it's a low probability to actually claim $29. So it's going to be a good option to look for the pullbacks here to get into the long, because you're likely going to form a higher low, very highly likely. Invalidation would be the low, and you're targeting the highs here. So we're still very much bullish for the moment, guys, till proven otherwise. So that would be a little bit with a bit of Picasso drawing on how we're looking for the opportunities here. Mark Dutch, my man, much love to you, brother. Afternoon legends. Here he is, the man himself, giving love and power. Much love to you, brother. Thanks for joining. Jack, here he is. Andy, check our wave. Yo, Andy, ICP swept the lows. Yes, indeed. I bought some more. And yeah, I am long. So we did, my man. We did. Let's take a look. 𝗬cie, much love to you, my man. Seriously. Thank you very much for joining. Much appreciated. Jack is saying here, take a look at our wave. Let's take a look at our wave right away here. We'll be taking a look at some altcoins, guys. Bitcoin has been covered. Ethereum has been covered. What is the ticker symbol for our wave? Our wave is this one, right? AR. Whoops. Let's take a look right away. Ooh, man, this is lurking down. What's going on? This is taking a big tank, guys. Holy smokes. Guys, anybody that's interested on Bitcoin and some scenarios that I'm looking for, and Ethereum, make sure to check out the first hour of the stream. It's been covered. Okay, now we're just flip-flopping into some altcoins, doing a little bit of Q&A, going through the comment section as always, as we like to do at the end of the stream, right? But oh, this is actually pretty damn sexy, I have to say. I like this. This is actually a pretty nice, sexy zone for our wave. Oh, this is actually really, really good. I can see from the low that this movement to the upside has been pretty damn impulsive. We've got lots of chop here, but then the last leg up. We've got a 3-wave down, and then this movement up right there. Hang on a minute, it needs to be studied with a bit of action. I'm just checking if this thing, this has possibility of being ABC flat. This is actually looking very good. Our wave is, this is nice. This is actually a nice area to bottom out. Very, very nice. The fact that we moved down here after this pretty epic rally that we had in July, we moved down in a 3-wave structure, and we got this bounce up that we claimed the lower highs. That is insanely good. Whatever happens here, likely to be corrective, and we're looking for $8, $9 to be hit, basically the high. So very choppy, very overlapping price action. What we are looking here is a sideways W price. Very, very likely. The bearish case scenario would be wave 1 and an ABC flat here. However, the wave overshoots the 1.618 extension, which is low probability. And we consider this being a wave 1, a wave 2, and this another wave 1 and a wave 2. And low probability purely based on what happened here. What happened here, overlap 3 waves. corrective price action, and what you're looking at here is a complex WXY sideways structure, very, very likely. So, yeah, you know, where the price should bounce on our wave is in between the 50% and the 7-8 Fibonacci. So this, you know, the golden pocket was the one that was getting the bounces throughout the last few weeks. We're revisiting the low here again. Yeah, I would say that our wave needs, you know, if we are looking for this to bounce between 50% and 7-8, I mean, the worst case scenario is actually dropping down to $5.50. That's like a movement zone. But this becomes an interesting zone to get the bounce without a doubt. Our wave, it's actually looking pretty good. The movement up looks impulsive, but most importantly, the movement down looks corrective. We could just arguably discuss that this is a descending wedge, right? Forget about your Elliott wave nonsense. It's a descending wedge. It's going to fake out from the bottom of the wedge. It's actually going to recover later on throughout the next coming weeks. I'm not sure our wave how good it is as a project, but the charts look pretty damn good, at least for the local scenario in the last few months. I would expect our wave to hold a higher low when we put it low in June. I would expect that very much. It looks good. It looks good for a higher low without claiming $4.50. It looks pretty good for a higher low. Really interesting. Our way. I didn't want to zoom out. No. Man. We are close to that down low from the bear market, I have to say. No. Hang on a minute. Just taking a look here at Fibonacci. The movement up here. Yeah, we got a nice move up here on our wave. This does look pretty damn important. Yeah, we are looking for the price to bottom out right from this zone. Local structure looks good for a wave 1, wave 2. Very corrective move throughout the last few weeks. This does look very bullish. But overall, locally, it does look pretty damn good. Okay? It's a vehicle on our way. Ouch! Legends, thank you very much for joining the stream. And people don't like me doing altcoins, okay? And especially looking at Elliott wave theory in that. Okay, Bitcoin and Ethereum, the main players of the game. I have taken a look at this, given you the different projection scenarios that could develop in this week. It will be decided this week, as mentioned, either a movement down to 107K or actually a movement up above 108K. The game, the battle will be decided this week, and I know where the highest probability play will happen, guys, based on the information that we have. I'll be letting the people know in the pro community what I'm looking for based on probabilities. If you're interested in joining the pro community, send me a DM. That's where you get all the education and information. If you want to join the VIP, where I'm just sharing my trading setups and my journey and my P&Ls and how I'm handling this market with my setups, I'm telling the people where exactly I'm getting into the setup. To get to the VIP, you just need to sign up for one of the exchanges where you do get insane bonuses, guys. Either profit 4 weeks, sign up, send me a DM,